not sure exactly.
I lost mine during the war.
And on that note, we appear to be on. So hello, everyone. Hello, my kittens. Hello, my people that still watch me. I love you. I love you so much.
I on the other hand, don't love you. I just say that to get y'all into bed.
Silence! Silence! Talk only when I want you to. Except
Lenzio.
I didn't know you were Prince of Queens.
Oh,
shit.
Cold water for that burn.
They have been thrown, and if it was about someone interesting, I might actually care. Anyway.
Y'all are hateful cunts. I adore you.
So we are back on my channel today because I figured we needed to sandblast the mothballs out of this metaphor that I have completely butchered. But yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, we need to get the cobwebs out of your channel's vagina.
My channel for vagina.
You have a Nancy Pelosi cobweb vagina.
Yeah, my God. Yeah. It's been so long since I've done anything on my channel, it's actually reformed its hymen. which would explain
it's been so long, the hairs are 4 feet high.
No, I'm a virgin.
Virgin shit. Take a look at that. I'm thinking Arby's.
Arby's.
That just came out of my nose.
You just want meat. So, in theory, like with every episode of Block Reported on this new format, we're going to start with a rather basic, extremely broad concept, and of course we will not wander off topic. We will remain with laser-like focus until we've incinerated all obstacles. Do you have a cold? Someone's typing.
That's me. You know it's me, you ass.
What are you doing?
I'm shilling this, you jerk.
Oh yes, chill for your life.
It's working on Craigslist. Shit.
There's no point in going on Craigslist anymore ever since they took the sex out of it. Unless you're gonna buy a chair.
All that hepatitis and AIDS.
Yeah, you know
we
what?
miss.
It's what you need.
I miss the days of gonna sip for hepatitis B.
Oh, and we have Uxkin.
You gotta collect them all, right?
Yep.
STDs.
STD Pokemon.
Only the Pokeball is. Each man has 2 Pokeballs, and that's where he collects them.
A Pokemon, isn't that like a Jamaican proctologist?
Yeah.
I'm going to Pokemon. Oh, look at this! It appears you have you have drug mule cocaine, and it has been surrounded by scar tissue. That's why you're such an asshole.
Me? Thank you.
All right, so the topic that we are going to attempt to follow and then probably promptly abandon. We talked before about proportional representation, which sounds uninteresting, and maybe it would be on another channel, but this is my channel, and this is my best friends, all of us show, Block and Reported, where we talk about a bunch of crazy stuff in a completely organized fashion.
And if not, I can always pull up our pennants.
That's, oh God.
Hey Google, what is the definition
You
of
are
topic?
fake news.
Huh? I identify as someone who is atopical. It's like being asexual, but well, actually, it's exactly like being asexual. Oh my God.
Asexual, doesn't that mean ugly?
Well, asexual is not a sexuality; it's a lack of one.
Yeah, which
That's kind of like not collecting stamps being a hobby.
So, keeping on the vague topic, proportional representation, and any one of y'all should step in to correct me, is the kind of the exact opposite of what we have in the United States, which is geographic. I think that we could solve a lot of problems in California, Georgia, Arkansas, hell, even Texas, if we used proportional representation, which is the idea that if, say, 5% of the people vote for, party or a person or whatever, then probably a party, then they get 5% of the representation in the government.
I'm not so big on the idea of letting New York and San Francisco tell the rest of the nation how to do their shit.
No. I don't mean in I don't mean something like in the national election. I want to keep the national government intact. I mean like in
State level.
But I like the idea of the reason I like proportional representation, and it would have to be tweaked. Maybe some on the national level too, but basically this. The cool thing about proportional representation is that it allows for ungerrymandered, at least in theory, access. So that if, because the country is really quite diverse, like politically speaking, there are dozens of different factions that have different ideas, but because of the way our governments are set up, state, local, and federal, basically we have a complete duopoly. It doesn't matter how many people you have that believe in X. They can't get in because you have to either be a Democrat or Republican, and that bends the ropes. I think it would be interesting. Now, granted, I think the Green Party and a lot of the other smaller parties are a bunch of wackaloons, but that's probably because they're the only people that are willing to basically, at this stage, throw their votes away or protest by being a separate entity from the two titans that dominate us right now. And I think it would be better if instead of having two giants that really don't care about us, that maybe they'd have to fight a couple of smaller demigods every once in a while. What do you guys think?
I like the idea, and also one thing I want to add is that if you have a party that's been out of power so long, like the Republicans in California, they eventually stop running serious candidates. Like for the tax board, I remember that in last election, the Democrat running was actually like a financial analyst for San Francisco County, and the other person was just some random taxes are theft dude running for office.
A school teacher.
I don't even think it was that. It was literally some anti-tax advocate running against a financial analyst.
That doesn't sound like it would be unfair or unbalanced at all.
Yeah, the other guy didn't have any experience dealing with like financial shit or something stupid like that.
So wouldn't that sort of be like a pro wrestling fan running against a judo instructor?
No, it's more like some random internet denizen running against someone who's actually knows what the fuck they're doing.
It's like the fat kid on YouTube with the samurai sword up against Royce Gracie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because no offense, the tax board in the state just doesn't do anything. It's just there to enforce regulations. It doesn't actually make anything.
I just think it would be better if we had at least 4 voices in as part of the national conversation instead of just.
I really would prefer an odd number, and that's the techie in me talking.
Yeah. 4 or 5. I mean, there are definitely disadvantages to proportional representation. Coalitions can be quite unstable, and we would definitely have to change everything. And yes, for that person, probably not the people in the comments right now, because you're lovely people and you love us, but eventually someone at some time and space will watch this and say this won't work, and you'll never get it done. It's like, yes, I understand, life is pointless, there's no reason to expect change, but you know what, it's nice to at least think about the possibility.
Well, there's also different types of proportional representation. Like you could, if California had 100 seats, just for the sake of arguing, you could have it where everyone's voting for those 100, or you could do it geographically where each region gets, each little area gets 5 of the however many we have.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on how you want to structure it. And I'm willing to bet America would keep a geographic system, but just go with, hey, let's just have 5 seats instead of 1, which would work a lot better.
Be kind of like the Senate, only on a wider scale.
Yeah, except for we'd elect everyone at once, so you can't gerrymander everything.
That, I don't know. That makes more sense. Cracker, does this subject, I don't know if I even told you.
Have we put you to sleep yet?
Yeah. I am asleep.
Did we take the salt off you?
And I have to say though, your reaction, I'm not even salty about it, because to be perfectly honest,
are you sick?
I feel like Cracker's reaction is kind of why this will never happen, because most people don't know what it is and don't care. But
which is why you talk about it, except for not having activists glue themselves to statues to make a point.
Yes. I do.
That is so last week. They're setting themselves on fire now.
If only that would solve so many problems.
Except the environmental activists, they're not going to set themselves on fire because they do not want to create excess carbon emissions. They're going to compost themselves in protests.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, but their hot air is a threat to my environment.
Mm-hmm. Is there a carbon neutral way to set yourself on fire? Like, I think you would definitely have to
That's awesome. I'm sorry. That is just fucking awesome.
What?
Is there a carbon neutral way to set yourself on fire?
I don't know. Jump into a deep fryer and set it on fire.
No,
Napalm.
okay, but what kind of
Napalm.
oil? Is it going to be corn oil? Because that's full of GMOs.
That doesn't add to the carbon footprint.
But we're talking about the intersectional hierarchy of oppression and destruction. If we're going to do it right, we have to
And
do
boiling grease. We're talking about the intersectional oppression of frying something.
Maybe.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. I was reading an article today. Of course, this article is from about 3 years ago. How restaurants need to change the evil, soft sexism dynamic of letting the women first and order first. I'm like, really? Y'all down to this shit now, right? Like she can't roll down her own window and yell her order into the clown's head herself.
Oh, by the way, Cracker, I just made you a moderator on my channel.
Yeah, what about me? I'm not a
Yay.
Wait, you're not?
mod. No.
Oh, okay. We're always on your channel, so I never even thought about it.
Yeah, I know.
Hooray, you're a moderator. Jason, you're a moderator.
Oh God,
Yay.
God no.
Use this power and abuse it. So yes, like if we ever become a larger channel, you will wield.
Fuck, I don't have a wrench.
You know what? You should.
No, Feral J doesn't have no wrench.
Wait. Are you on? Wait. Oh no, I made Jason Black one. Are you in multiple accounts again?
I'm everywhere.
He's invading our mental anuses right now.
Yeah. Well, I was just clearing out your cobwebs, Bacon.
I'm sorry, but I haven't.
Your mental secretions smell like rosemary and thyme.
I'm sorry, but I have devices to clear out my cobwebs.
Yeah,
you got that power washer, huh?
No, I actually have something long and phallic.
The advantage to bacon.
Sexual
corn is
innuendos.
not supposed to be used that way. Neither are pineapples.
Bacon
What am I, Paris Hilton?
Better, you have your own grease. You come pre-lubricated.
Okay, I was making a South Park reference.
I remember, but
Yes,
I'm older than you, Bacon. I know the South Park references. I don't know the new ones because I'm older than you. But
I haven't even watched the newer 3 seasons yet.
It doesn't really matter.
I'm a few behind.
Same here.
It's like me and basically all cable television shows. Even the ones I like, I'm very, very, very far behind. Like Supernatural, I love the boys, and I know they're going to end soon. I'm so sad, but I'm like 3 seasons behind. Yeah, I can't believe. I thought for sure they were going to keep Sam and Dean out there in walkers and wheelchairs, fighting. But I guess eventually, I don't know. They keep saying that this is the end, but I don't know. They're probably gonna make movies or something. Any of y'all watch Supernatural?
Never heard of it.
What? Really?
Yeah, really.
Oh.
I got nothing.
Yeah, like I just discovered who Cardi B was on Friday.
Well, that you should be. I don't know. Maybe see someone about that because knowing about Cardi B, I find I know as little about her as possible. And every time I remember her, I literally just kind of poke myself to make sure that I don't associate her with anything good.
No, I legitimately at work on Friday discovered that she even exists as a person.
No, literally,
I did not know until Friday. I did not know she existed.
If you want to know what kind of a horrible nerd I am, the only reason that I learned about Cardi B was because Fran Drescher wanted to make her like the reboot version.
Hey, you want to hear some real
shit?
shit? You know what Cardi B's real name is?
What?
Belcalis Marlenis Alamansar, which I swear to God, I just summoned the devil or some shit saying that.
I was gonna say, it sounds kind of like a food poisoning pathogen.
It sounds like some Harry Potter shit, like Belcalis Marlenis Alamansar. I don't know, and they turn into a fucking dildo or something.
No, that's when you summon like the giant pink spider that actually has penises for legs.
Well, spiders have penises on their legs.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
You learn something new.
I did something.
I'm here to entertain and inform. It's just like my grandfather, when my grandfather was watching me, he'd be like, okay, I'm going to go upstairs and fuck your grandmother, who's like, I was like 4 years old at the time. He wasn't going to bullshit me.
Yeah, I definitely gotta say, like, knowing that they have penises on their legs really puts their webs in a whole new context for me.
Mm.
I'm definitely.
Spider-Man, anatomically correct Spider-Man.
Oh, have you guys seen the skit
Mhm.
Anatomically Correct Spider-Man?
Where do you think I
Mhm.
learned it about the penises? This
Oh,
is
I didn't know about. Wait, I've seen that a bunch of times. I don't remember anything about penises.
it's either that or the acid kicked in. One of the two.
Yeah, I'm thinking some combination of that.
Mm.
No, Cracker though, like I already get the feeling that like on Bacon's channel we can sustain political stuff, but today it just doesn't seem to be in the air, and I'm okay with that
Oh,
because
I could sustain it single-handedly, but if we're not on my channel, I thought I was taking a night off
yeah,
or a day off.
it's fine. I at these days like I'm happy just to hang out with my friends, the few that I have, which is you guys, because I work 48. No, my job now I work 48 hours a week plus my second job. So in case anyone ever wonders why I'm so weird and not doing anything, it's because I'm loopy,
What?
tired, and hungry all the time.
Are you upset I'm not talking? I was just letting you speak.
Oh no! I just trailed off.
Well, we were just letting you run your damn mouth.
No, I started to talk to you and then I trailed off. So that's my bad. No, I was going to ask you, how are you? What have you been up to? Like it's been a minute.
Just healing.
Yeah. Are you
Hands
still in pain?
Yeah, his hand's still fucked up.
Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I tried. I was working for a little bit, but I couldn't do a job, unfortunately.
I'm sorry to hear
It
that.
just didn't work out.
Well, at least you tried.
Should take time, yo.
At least you tried, because a lot of people with lesser injuries won't even try. They'll just spend the rest of their lives milking it. And I know you're not that kind of person. So you take however much time you need. Just don't hurt yourself more in the process.
Hey, if you want, give me some money. I'm joking.
Like even though I'm working all the time,
That's some pics, and we just might.
even though I'm working all the time, somehow I still don't have any money. It might have something to do with the fact that I live in the Bay Area and that I have like, how many animals do I have now? I don't even know how many animals.
Well, that's why you should stop acquiring new ones.
Last time it rained, cats started building a fucking ark.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I've been doing lately is just I haven't been really active on my channel at all. I haven't made a video in like 6 months.
I feel you. It's been 3 for me.
I've been painting miniatures. And
Really?
I'm getting kind of good at it.
That's cool. Miniatures of what?
D&D, Warhammer 40K.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know very much about those. I know what they are, but I don't know much about them. Yeah, my husband, he doesn't paint his, but he collects lead figures of DC and some Marvel, but DC's better. Figures, fight me, people. But
Hey, I like Marvel better just because of Chris Hemsworth.
yeah,
Oh please!
I've always said
You're a
this.
Captain Marvel fan. Admit
I've
it.
always said
I
this.
actually have not seen Captain Marvel, and I don't plan to.
Yeah, anyone with a penis has no business seeing a movie, and I'm sure Brie Larson will thank us for it. No, I've always maintained that Marvel has a better movie universe because Disney, if anything, is very good at making marketing products. But when it comes to the actual characters, when it comes to the actual stories, yes, DC is plagued with trouble right now, but so is Marvel. DC just is plain better at telling stories about characters that are, I don't know, meaningful, in my opinion. I forget who, but someone said the heroes of Marvel are, broken anti-heroes, and the heroes in DC are gods. And that's not to say that they're like infallible, but it just means that there's like an absolute moral standard that at least they try to measure up to in DC, and they all kind of share it. Whereas in Marvel, all the characters are sort of like either smoking or just, doing their own thing, and no one really. I don't know what you could. Who's the moral heart of the Marvel universe? That's a question, because I can't.
Thanos.
Yeah. Case in point. It's because they don't.
He snapped his fingers. I'm still here. I'm like, fucker, you missed.
Oh my god! So did y'all see Avengers Endgame?
Yeah, I did.
I did too.
I hadn't seen it yet.
It was very long.
It was long and schlongular.
It was very long.
Yeah. There were parts of it that were quite I'm not going to do spoilers because like I'm not that kind of an asshole. But I mean,
then just leave it to me. I'll give you the spoilers.
I mean, all I'll say is like it was very long and it felt very long. There were parts of it that were quite inspirational, but yeah, there were other parts where I'm like, really? Did we have to do that? And then only a couple of times where I was sort of like, was that really necessary? Like Pepper Potts fighting in armor. It's like, well, okay, I guess all hands on deck, but I mean, really, Gwyneth Paltrow, action superhero. It was kind of funny in the Iron Man movie, but in Avengers Endgame.
Wait, Gwyneth Paltrow? Well, what was she doing? Trying to get Thanos' armies to, not take their vaccinations so they die of smallpox and shit, or what?
No, I think she was trying to. I think she was trying to shove jade vulva eggs up all the female opponents so that they could,
I'm sorry, y'all. It's like anti-vaxxer jokes just never get old.
Yeah,
just like their children.
Yeah. Paltrow is an exceptionally stupid human being. She's a reasonably good actor. I think her mother could act circles around her while blindfolded and with a leg cut off. But that's what you get. Although I have to say, I don't know if Blythe Danner, is that her name? Blythe Danner, her mother's name?
I don't know.
Yeah,
like I said before on this subject, wrong kind of gay you're talking to.
Yeah, I'm not a Perez Hilton wannabe. I just like movies. I mean, I was a film major back 1,000 years ago when that might have actually meant something.
Gay.
I don't have full movie gay though because I don't like musicals like at all. Any of them.
I don't know. I like musicals, but I like the really fucked up ones like The Book of Mormon and Avenue Q.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah,
the internet is great for porn.
And cat videos. That's all that's on the internet is porn, cat videos.
And double click for porn.
By the way, if anyone's wondering why we're all avatars today, it's because, again, I'm in irony of irony. I am babysitting an elderly German Shepherd in the luxurious hill.
He is an old people internet, yo.
Yeah, my lady that I am house sitting for right now, she has a wonderful house with DSL. So that's
and
why.
Me, I'm just actually sitting here naked, with a bowl of Jello, and they told me I had to turn the camera off because nobody want to see that shit.
Yeah, and I'm just not using the camera because it didn't turn on.
So yeah, we're all just a bunch of talking heads right now. And you know what? If you discriminate against us because we're all just talking heads, that's ableist. And
I think it's racist or something.
Yeah, someone somewhere will care.
Transphobic? I don't know. Well, let's go ask some gender studies major what she can be pissed off about on our behalf.
She has a whole binder full of things
that's what she can do when you're not getting any.
That actually should be something. I wonder if anyone ever done the spin a wheel like for game shows. Like they should have one for like be offended, like the wheel of offense where you just spin it and it's like what are we going to be offended by today?
Wheel of privilege, turn.
Oh God, wheel of privilege. I love that. That's the game just waiting to happen.
It's just a moral lesson that we must learn.
Oh God, moral lessons. I didn't learn those well in Bible land when my parents tried to make me Christian.
Yeah, Vacation Bible School did not go well for me because I always ask, those really uncomfortable questions like, Noah's Ark. Everybody knows that story, right?
Yeah.
And there was some point where I'm sitting there like 40 days and 40 nights, all those different animals on there. So they must have had to go somewhere. So where did the animals go to the bathroom? And then I finally came to the conclusion that at one point, they tipped the boat over, and that's how they got my hometown.
That's how they sealed all the leaks on the Ark by using the copious amounts of animal feces to plug all the holes. Although it's a wonder how the animals and the original survivors of the Ark did not all contract sepsis, hepatitis, and typhoid, considering,
maybe they weren't horse cats. Did you ever think of that?
Yeah. Excuse me. No, I was amazed today, for instance. Well, not today, but, this week. they're talking about how the Middle Ages are coming back to California in the form of typhus and bubonic plague because all the fucking homeless people are just shitting all over the streets everywhere, and no one's cleaning it. And so now we're dealing with diseases that we thought we eradicated hundreds of years ago. Hooray, progress!
Yeah, going back to the political thing, that's why I say I don't want those places having any kind of influence over here.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost Cracker. Oh,
Damn it.
well, hopefully we didn't drive him away. I'm sure he's fine.
Well, he was on mute. He was on mute for a bit, so I figure he kind of had some stuff going on. Which, hey, come back to us. We miss you. Feel free to jump in, but if you got shit to do, it's okay, bud.
We got 2 cats and a piece of bacon. Like, we need the Cracker to give us carbs.
I'll just make you into lumpia. That'll give us carbs.
Always, but there's no carbs in lumpia. Well,
the outer side is carb. Like the wrapper is carbs. You
true.
Pawns.
I try to avoid eating lumpia. It always gives me diarrhea.
What? It's not the water in Mexico.
I don't know, something about Filipino food, like, and I've had plenty of it, but it's like, unless it's very, very. Actually, I don't even know what the conditions are. But like, anytime I eat Filipino food, I always get some sort of digestive upset. Like, I don't think
I've ever had Filipino food.
Really?
I've only ever had lumpia.
I've had
lumpia.
Oompa Lumpias. That's the new restaurant, Oompa Lumpia.
That would be awesome.
I
would pay money for that, especially if they get the Oompa Loompas, like singing while they bring out your order. That would be fucking awesome. I would show up there tripping balls.
Day. What kind of feeling do you want today?
Cat.
What? Cat, yeah. Oh, I thought you were just... Okay, that's funny. I thought you were talking to me, but no, you said you want cat filling. I got you.
No, they just take one look at our table, be like, okay, they ain't eating no pussy.
Mm-hmm. At that, I could just see that if it was like a really old, grizzled Filipino chef from Manila, is like, fucking bakla, which is by the way, bakla is not a nice word for gay people that I learned from working with Filipinos. But don't worry, they didn't call me that. I just let them know that I knew it, and then they laughed because they're like, "Oh, you shouldn't use that word." I'm like, if I can't use it, no one can. We've completely gone off the rails. But what else is new?
Off the rails, honey. That is understatement. I mean, typically the way our stuff goes, we pretty much head right for the insanity horizon and start picking up speed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So proportional representation. Do you have any other questions on that to try to pretend we have had a topic?
To pretend for even a moment.
Well, I don't know. I mean, as far as the, the 2-party system, I think we all know that shit is broke, and we're not sure what to do with it. It's kind of difficult the way that we have certain amendments that were put in later. I can't remember which one's off the top of my head, but it does make it a lot more difficult to get a third party in there. But the other is risk. I mean, basically the whole, if you're not voting for our party, you're throwing it away and giving it to the other people. Doing both at the same time, no less. What I'm thinking is maybe if we could reduce some of that risk, we could go with something like ranked choice voting, which a lot of states use for their absentee ballots anyhow.
That sounds like it would work.
Because what I thought of having like a system that kind of would work better is if you had, I can't remember the exact number, whatever times 5 that equals 600 in a very efficient way of having that number of districts in California, but each one elect 5 and then single transferable vote until you get 5 people that are tolerable. Because the magic number in political science is if you have 5 people coming from one vote, like one voting constituency, you can't gerrymander that because not everyone's going to vote one way.
It sounds complicated and possibly like it might work. I like it.
Well, I have another idea.
What's that?
We take the 5 most qualified candidates, that have presented themselves. We go through vetting. They get to do their speeches, and then we put them in the cage.
What are they?
And we start dropping weapons in, and the last one standing is the one that gets it.
Or we just do what they do on Third Rock from the Sun, and you just got to outrun a giant flaming boulder.
That could definitely work. But no, I think that we need to start, if nothing else, just building in ways to prevent what we have now, which is a completely biased, gerrymandered system, which is all about protecting incumbency and cushy lobby jobs. One thing I thought about the other day, this is vaguely connected to politics, but so you know how, for instance, Sargon got banned from Twitter. Not even him, but his political campaign in the UK, because you know the UK is a nightmarish dystopia that George Orwell couldn't have predicted, even with all his prophetic gifts. Sorry, George. Seems your children really fucked everything up. So what? You know how C-SPAN is basically just a useless appendage, that is only there just to give people theoretical access, but also to cure insomnia. Well,
Actually, I kind of like C-SPAN because they don't put a whole lot of spin on shit. I would prefer that to all the major media outlets that we have going on now.
No,
It's
I agree.
okay, here's boring ass footage. Figure the shit out for yourself.
No, I agree, and I like that. I want to expand it because here's the thing: C-SPAN is great in theory, but it's trapped on television, which is not a useful place for it to be. So, what if we made C-SPAN into an actual political platform where it's basically like a government-run social media platform, but only for elected officials and government employees, with the understanding that there is no censorship and that you can only be on there if you're an actual, if you're either already a member of the government or if you have a campaign. That way, everyone who's running has access to a universal platform, because phones and the internet are where it's at. The radio, the television, the newspaper. I'm sorry, these really only reach out to a very elderly segment of the population. We really need to have some way to make sure that our political figures can communicate with people using the mediums that they actually use. What do you guys think?
Well, the thing is, I mean, most of the way that social media is going, shorter format stuff is what's taking precedence. You got infographics as opposed to research. You have the sound bites, which have always been a problem about as long as media has been around, and then on top of that, we have people that are constantly switching from one thing to another, so they're only getting little bits and pieces. That is a recipe for misinformation, and I worry it's only going to get worse. Yeah. I mean, this is a cultural problem, and I don't want to sound like a Luddite at all, but smartphones and social media have had their role in that and have actively encouraged it.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with you. You don't want to sound like a Luddite when you talk about this, but I think it's worth mentioning the fact that the technology is kind of moving into places where our little ape brains are not really used to being. We didn't evolve being constantly connected to each other at all times. We didn't evolve to have the ability to give ourselves constant microserotonin hits all the time. And yeah, the idea of being alone and never alone at the same time all the time, I don't know.
And not to mention, we're basically doing all this with languages that were originally designed to explain to each other where the ripe fruit was.
Where the ripe fruit was, which mushroom not to eat. Look, watch out, there's a tiger over there. But no,
I do think social media has helped in some ways, not to be a total negative Nancy.
No, absolutely.
But I do think it's made some problems worse, but it's also made some problems better. You can actually go out and look and listen to or read some long form thing you could never have read even 10 years ago, let alone 50 years ago. But then it's also made it so people can become incredibly puritanical in a very closed in group, and then they clash water and grease when they come into contact with each other. Tumblr is a very good example of that, or at least was.
Which is kind of why I like the idea of the C-SPAN. I call it social media, not really social media though. Basically, what I mean is in the same way that FDR used the radio to talk to the population in a way that had never been done before. Twitter right now is really the only way that the majority of politicians have access to their own constituents, unless, of course, they are lucky enough to be interviewed by a local television station, or there are other ways.
Hold on a sec, y'all. Do me a favor, send a link over to Cracker. His computer froze.
Oh shit. Okay.
Not here, it draws flies.
Here, let me send it to you again.
Cats, if you're gonna do that, do it like a proper person on the glass coffee table.
Okay. But I think that it is important that there be some sort of platform that, politicians running both active and prospective can use without the fear of censorship. Because like I said, the fact that Sargon's campaign was blocked and Tommy Robinson's campaign were blocked off of Twitter because of, whatever Twitter's rules are. Okay, but that's on the one hand, yes, I get it, private platform and all that, but like Tim Pool and all the others are saying, like the digital public square has essentially become the public square.
Well, let's take that to a higher level. A lot of these places sold themselves as being the new public square. So as far as I'm concerned, that they should be subject to the same rules as the government, which is basically, so long as you're not, calling to violence and all the other few things that are actually illegal, you should not be able to just randomly kick someone off a platform. Yeah, someone like, Alex Jones might be abhorrent, but that's also a vaccine to the public, because most people are going to see him making an ass out of himself, or, what's her
point
fate,
and laugh as they should.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. It's like exposing people and their stupid ideas and letting people see stupid ideas is the best vaccine against it. Yeah, maybe 1 in 1,000 will buy into something stupid, but still, most of the other 900 and whatever are gonna not, believe. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's stupid. That's why that was stupid. And I don't believe in this.
And when did we get to the point where like we have this idea that like it's okay? It's not only okay, but it's like moral to talk about how, well, people are easily fooled by fake news. They have no ability to resist, any misinformation. So we have to protect them from it. It's like,
yeah, that's bullshit. We've had misinformation forever. Ever since communication ever came out, we've had deception of some kind. Really, the best way to do that is, first off, let people get a good, healthy dose of bullshit, and instead of teaching them how to pass tests, teach them fucking logic. Teach them how people. There's a good book that I've read recently, Weaponized Lies. Have y'all read it? Or it was either Weaponized Lies or Bullshit, because I've read both recently, and I may be getting them confused.
I haven't.
But one of the two talks about how statistics can be, the way they're presented, can paint completely different pictures of things. And it was a total eye-opener. My vendors hate that I read that.
I remember them telling me about that when I took a statistics class as part of a weird requirement back in college days. And granted, I wasn't really paying attention that much because I was just like, I just need to take this class so I can get into this fucking college. But I do remember the teacher making an offhand remark showing us, in fact, how easy it was to take data and, like, with just a couple of variables, paint completely different pictures. And it's kind of frightening considering that's all people do and no one fact checks anything anymore.
Yep, it is, but I don't know. Like, my point, like, I know, because I was actually watching, I think, what was it, the non-sec channel, and they were having a debate over this. They were having a debate over something else, but it got into social media censorship, and Mr. Atheist he still thinks like a religious person. He still thinks the us versus them mentality of, oh, it's okay to censor these people because they're dangerous. It's like, no, it's not. It's like you're eventually all these us versus them fights always end in a puritanical death spiral. Like, and that's what. And honestly, I think that's where social media is going to head. It's either going to be towards regulation and then being forced to, put up with people they hate, or it's going to be a death spiral for them.
But I still want to know though, what do you guys think though about there being like a government, like an official government communication platform that is regulated, basically like a, where like if you're a member of the government or you are a recognized political campaign, you can use that to talk to anyone, and there are no abstruse corporate group terms of service. There are no advertisers. It's literally just a pure communication, your constituents, and that's it.
It's probably be as useful as Google Plus.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I honestly think it would just be easier to force companies to be regulated.
My big problem is basically, with it being government based, it would be extremely difficult to find any kind of non-biased group that's not affected by any of those to serve as overseers.
True. Look at the FBI. Like, I used to trust
yeah,
them, and now I don't, and that's really sad to say because, like, we should be able to trust. I always assumed that when you go into the government,
FBI has been completely untrustworthy since they got rid of Mulder and Scully.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. Ever since they took away the smoking man cigarettes, like it's all been downhill.
I know now he vapes, and it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Vaping.
You got like a man bun too.
But I honestly do think just enforcing regulations of saying, if so long as the people who are on social media aren't advocating for something illegal, that you can't actually get rid of them. They need to be doing just something justifiably illegal. Like I know Alex Jones is also kind of a bad example of that because he was selling, potentially contaminated vitamins over with his social media platform. So I can understand that being a reason, but that's not a reason they cited. So that's one of why I'm kind of suspect of how he got knocked off.
And here's the thing: anyone can sell a bad product unless you have proof that they were doing it on purpose and maliciously. That's not a reason to get rid of someone, because otherwise,
as far as I'm concerned, if you're selling, supplements that are potentially contaminated with lead, maybe you should at least be,
But is that Alex Jones? Or
personally, I want to see. I want to see. I want to see the people that bought into all the ads for colloidal silver. I want to see some Smurf-looking motherfuckers with Argeria. I want to go around like la 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 la.
So is that's I've heard of that silver thing very briefly, but
Argeria, yeah, that gives them a blue color to their skin, and I'm like, fuck yeah.
It's pretty. It is weird.
It's not Smurf though; it's Navi.
I want to be like Gargamel and shit,
Mm-hmm.
Sebastian be over here like Azrael.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I honestly do. I'm of the regulation would just be easier variety because who's gonna basically get people to use C-SPAN online.
Well, I mean, like it would definitely not be something. It would be the way I thought about it. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea, but in the same way that we have the presidential address that goes through all Cracker's back, yay!
Oh, Cracker!
Hey,
what up, Cracker?
Yeah. In the same way that we have the presidential address where, he can address all the smartphones all at once, which, yes, I get it. It's kind of creepy, but, it's also useful that, at the time, like say North Korea actually does something, it'd be kind of useful for someone to be able to actually get a hold of everyone. And I don't know, maybe smartphones should just have it as one of those, utilities, like all phones can call 911 and all phones can access your government representative account or whatever. That's a thought. I don't know. I want there to be some way to break, I guess, really more than proportional representation. If there was anything resembling a theme in this episode, was that I'm sick to death of duopolies, gerrymandering, and just the idea that small arbitrary committees of people, whether they be private, political, corporate, or whatnot, can decide who gets to have a voice in the conversation and who matters and who doesn't. And I want more people to be part of that conversation.
And honestly, we do need a much more consistent standard because we all know, with the people that I was talking about earlier, they automatically become hypocrites once they're on the losing end of it. Because it's all fine. It's all fine and dandy when you're knocking off Alex Jones or Laura Loomer, which, I mean, they're morons, but at the same time, it's like once it's the people celebrating that they got knocked off, losing their monetization or getting kicked off for showing a dildo, then all of a sudden, the shoe's on the other foot, and oh my God, this is a problem.
And it's funny because, I guess I'm just at that point where I see them talking about their people getting, how unfair it is that their people are getting knocked off now. And I'm just like, no, this is exactly, motherfucker, how you ordered it. Mustard on top, pickle on the side, fucking eat it.
Yeah. Because that's the thing that I don't get, because I remember, I think one of the first times YouTube started doing mass demonetization. I think it was the second round of it was gay YouTube channels getting hit, and they're like, "Oh, you're taking money away from the gays." It's like, bitch, you ordered this. You wanted the family friendly, politically neutral bullshit, and it's like, well, and you sell fucking dildos from AdamandEve.com.
I don't think that a lot of the people on the left that were calling for censorship, I don't think it was even so much that they thought they were asking for family-friendly PC-ness. I think that they simply thought that they were part of the good side of the conversation.
Everybody thinks they're part of the good side. Nobody wakes up in the morning like, my God, I have a hard-on for villainy.
Yeah, I know. No one's, it's like very few people.
Well, except Cracker.
Yeah. Now, Cracker...
And it's a BMF, too.
Cracker, why don't you tell us a little bit what you think about this as someone who's been, how many times have you been kicked off of Twitter, it's really rude how much you've been censored in the time I've known you.
It's they reap what they sow. You know.
Mhm. Short and to the point. I like it. Yeah, I've never been banned, but I think it's just because I don't really try hard enough to get noticed. Like I was way more enthusiastic about everything. I still love my channel. I still love my friends. I love my subscribers. But I just don't have the time and the energy to put into it like I used to.
Yeah, I've gotten suspended on Twitter a few times.
Now, what have you guys gotten suspended for?
I called some bitch a cunt.
I made a tranny joke.
Oh, that's right. Yes, we made a video about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I called some conservative a cunt, and she did not take too kindly to that because she was being one. Her asshole puckered, and she reported me.
God, all of the social media, it's getting so bad. I mean, how many times do you say it's getting so bad and not do anything about it? Because here we are on YouTube. It's like, but in the end, we don't really have an alternative. I mean, yeah, we could go on D Live, I suppose, like with like PewDiePie and some of the others, but Twitch, D Live, all these opportunities, it doesn't seem to really matter. Whatever platform you go on, as soon as you get noticed, if you do anything remotely out of the way, you're going to get canceled one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
Fun fact: canceled people have better sex.
Cancel your inhibitions. Just stick it in. Don't lube it up. Just go for it.
Just stick it in. That sounds like a gay bar.
Yeah. Oh my god, I would so go to there. Just stick it in.
It's a gay bar / bathhouse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's all a bathhouse.
I went to one of those. It's funny. I went to one of those in New York. Like I forget. I think it was called the Eagle. It was weird. It was cool because it was like a 3 or 4 story like brick building, and there were several bars on different levels, and people were having sex, but they had to be kind of on the down low. Like if the staff found you, they'd say, "All right, break it up." But so you couldn't actually just go buck wild. But I don't know. Someone told me, I think there's some reason like why bathhouses don't have alcohol at them. Like it's some sort of like arcane, like I think anti-prostitution.
Not just that. It's just it's kind of a bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I mean shit can go very, 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 very bad, very, very, very quickly. Especially when you don't know what kind of person you're dealing with.
It is very true, but
Third wants to know if we're gonna make a new game, gay bar or bathhouse.
you know what?
There's a difference.
Yeah, it's whether or not the toilet has a at maximum occupancy sign.
To that, I invoke the meme of the Hispanic taco of the Del Tacos commercial. Why not both?
I'm actually the gay bar that Kat's met his husband at actually has a maximum occupancy sign on its toilet stalls.
Mm-hmm. And all the toilets are made out of reinforced graphene. It's the only public restroom that also includes a bidet to ensure that you're extra fresh for that special somebody.
Yeah. Okay.
Special someones.
Have I gone too far with the invocation of anal blasting with water?
Yeah, because that just doesn't.
No, there's really no limit to that. I mean, yeah.
Well, we seem to be sputtering, but in a good way. Kind of like a VW bus where, like, is it smoke coming out of the radiator or is it just marijuana smoke? You don't know. I don't know. No one knows. So, do you guys want to continue or should we call it good? Because I know you have to go in a little bit.
Let's just keep going for a few minutes more. We got 5 more minutes, Mom.
Okay.
5 more minutes, Mom.
I am not. Well, okay, I'm kind of the mother. It's fine.
We can take this as long as you want because I've got training to do later today, and yesterday was leg day, and I just don't want to fucking do it. I'm walking around with the strength and majesty of a newly born giraffe.
I'm actually gonna bounce.
Oh,
Okay.
you are? Oh, okay.
Aw.
Good night, morning, or
hopefully
whatever.
next week or sometime soon. Have a good one. Say hi to Lady Cracker for us.
Will do. See you
Later, Cracker.
He's always fun. You guys should check out his channel. I know it's been a while. Like, assuming any of you who are watching us who haven't seen it yet, like, should definitely. He is
Totally, he's funny as shit.
He is very funny. But, oh yeah. Awkward silence.
Oh well. Bacon, stop doing that. People can see you.
No, they can't.
And we're all Avatar all the time today.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so can someone tell a story about how they got crabs for the next 20 minutes so I can make a grocery list?
No, not quite.
Oh God, no, absolutely not, absolutely not.
Mm, yeah, that'll be the next episode where we just talk about all the STDs that we have acquired over
I have
the
acquired none, so that's going to be a very short story.
I cannot say the same.
Oh wait, did you go?
Do what?
Oh no, we'll talk later.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a wild world out there, people. Be careful.
Yes. Wear a condom.
Wear a condom.
Don't bang ugly people.
Yeah.
Because
Ugly
everybody know ugly people carry it.
Actually, you want to bang the ugly girl with the bucket of fried chicken.
No. I mean, first off, there's a matter of, rolling them in flour and looking for the wet spot. That's how you make a skank biscuit. Secondly, fat women are a lot like, those little motor scooters. They're a shit ton of fun to ride, but you do not want your friends catch you on one.
Plus the mileage is shit. Did I just mix the metaphor?
Maybe.
Yeah.
This is my date, Pultra.
Pultra. That would be
my date, Rotunda.
Our new heavy metal fried chicken band, Polterra.
Oh shit! No, I really wish he was on here right now because Gigtown Berserker has got to tell you guys about when we were running, I think, from Memphis toward Little Rock. And, I'm driving, I'm not thinking twice about it. And, I had to jump to the left-hand lane. This car starts coming up beside me on the right. And he's like, oh, no, sister, no. I'm like, she's going to pass me on the right. Yes, it's illegal, strictly speaking, but fuck it. They don't enforce it anyway. He's like, no, you don't understand. The car is leaning on its side practically, and she's passing around a bucket of chicken. I'm like, surely oh my God, he is not shitting me. Welcome to America.
Yeah, it's at times like this that you wish that everyone had a GoPro because that's quality content there, I gotta tell you.
Oh Lord. That's like when I took him to Walmart, and two chicks got into a fight, like right outside as soon as we walked in. It was glorious.
Why didn't you record this kind of stuff? Like, you guys should have just been vlogging it. Like, I know you don't vlog,
The
but
drones only got so much battery power, y'all.
What kind of phone do you have?
Drones.
Oh, drone. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I that actually totally would be you just walking around Walmart with drones flying inside.
Yeah, actually, I'd really like to get like maybe 4 or 5 of them to just kind of surround me and follow me in formation. That would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And just let people know. Yeah, at least 2 of these are weaponized.
What would they be? What do you arm drones with though? Because the problem is they're not really that strong enough to carry ammunition. So. And if you use a laser...
You ain't got to tell them that. Fuck. If you use a laser, you're going to end up burning up your battery, which is already, stretched.
Yeah, I was just going to say that until Qualcomm releases their new the new Snapdragon laser, guaranteed to last 33 hours. And after the first
storage technologies that Tesla is coming up with, actually, I think that's probably going to be our best bet for longer-term storage.
Yeah, Tesla is one of those companies that people love to hate on, and probably because they take themselves a little too seriously sometimes.
Actually, my issue with Tesla is more the media taking them too seriously than them taking themselves too seriously.
True.
Oh, he's done some pretty cool shit. He's got some really innovative ideas, and let's face it, the guy is a dreamer. He comes up with ideas.
He wants to try the crazy shit.
In the meantime, we're doing the live action remake of shit we saw just 10 years ago, and I'm like, really? Really, y'all can't just go back and watch the original?
Yeah. But my last, I guess, point on with Tesla is look, I don't like some of the shit that people report on with Tesla. Every time something happens with the Hyperloop, for instance, you don't get honest reporting. You get people that are on their knees in front of Elon Musk instead of saying well, can this from an engineering standpoint actually work? And no one really knows.
Can I be on my knees in front of Elon Musk?
Yeah, but but it's everyone, everyone's
you want it for the money.
But it's like every reporter gets on their knees and is like, giving him a complete, suck job instead of actually doing their fucking jobs, which just points out why the media kind of sucks right now.
True.
Agreed.
Mhm.
Agreed.
I don't think like if Elon's gonna go gay for anyone though, I'd like to throw my hat in the ring. Not just because he's wealthy, but because I feel like he's basically the closest.
You think he's hung? Got it.
What?
Mhm.
What did you say? I didn't hear what you said. What?
Cats, I hate to break it to you, but I think Anderson Cooper's first in that line.
I'm
Oh.
Anderson Cooper though, and unlike him, I won't stab you in the back.
Speaking of, have I shown you guys the Anderson Cooper video about the Bears?
No, what happened?
After we're done, check it out. I'm gonna drop it in your. I'm gonna drop it in your box.
Ooh. Be gentle, or
Well, it said drop, so.
No, yeah, you know what? Just throw it in there. It's fine. I'm durable. There's something that we should always ask. Are you durable? If someone asks you that on a date, you should probably run. That's not a good sign. Oh my god.
Well, Thurg says you're being silly, Bacon. He says the media doing its job and not being sensational is factually shallow.
Well, that's what they're doing after they do the sucky behind the scenes.
No behind the scenes. They're doing it right on in 4K.
Honey, they're not doing that shit behind the scenes.
Well, you
ever been to Southern Decadence? That's pretty much what they're doing.
I have no idea what Southern Decadence means.
It's this festival. It's kind of skanky, gross.
Like us.
No.
Is it worse? Is it like gay pride but skankier?
Yeah.
Okay, what's skankier than gay pride though? Seriously.
People with no standards.
Again, you say this like that's a difference.
No, gay guys actually do have standards. It's just that they don't have high ones.
Yeah, but the gay guys haven't been in charge of Pride for years, and that's how we all met each other because like the freaking activists and the trannies took over a long time ago.
You can't say tranny; you're gonna get your channel moved.
No, it's the cues, and you can't use that because when they don't like you, it's a slur. If they do like you, it's like what they need to want to be called. So it's like really. But no, I really think it's the cues that they're the biggest problem. I mean, these are people that are. I mean, every single orientation they have is already covered, gay, straight, or bi. So like, no, we want to be special just for the sake of being special. It's like, no, fuck you.
It's like queer, like as you were saying, like what you're literally trying to make. You're trying to make a defined orientation out of not being defined. Like I don't even like it's like a linguistic and logical contradiction. Like trying to have a cold fire. It's like how can you define that which is by its definition undefinable?
I think is ultimately everything is definable. To me, it's just attention whoring.
It is. I mean, I think people are finally starting to wake up to it, though. I mean, like,
good,
or at least not so much wake up to it, but I think people are starting to fight back because the frustration is just brimming with this.
Well, basically, we've been pretty much bending over backward, trying to please people that, quite frankly, don't want to fucking be pleased.
No, it's like the homeless people that say that the advocates say we need to get these people off the streets, and they don't want to be off the streets. They like being homeless, or at least that's what they think because they're so freaking out of their mind with mental illness and drugs.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know all that many homeless people.
I know too many, unfortunately, and I'm sick of it.
I got, let's see, one today was trying to hit me up for money, and I literally do not carry cash. I mean, I'm not used to it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't carry cash. He starts cussing at me. I just look him right now. I'm like, motherfucker, bad mouthing me ain't going to make that cash appear. You need to go.
Yeah.
Well, I guess on that note, we should end the show.
Yeah,
I'm a shithead. Later, y'all.
Later, everyone. We love you.
Bye.
Well, wait. Before we go, are we going to do this on your channel next week, Bacon?
I hope so. One of these days, we need to do a night episode where we finish off our penance at night so I can drink heavily while dealing with Zachary Zane.
I keep telling you, if we finish that penance list, we're just going to die. Okay, on that note. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Later.